To you crabs out here, hope y'all having a great day. So for you crabs, you have the star card, the seven of wands, the hanged man. So okay. So for some of you crabs, right, the star card, the seven of wands, and the hanged man represents you crabs are waiting and hopeful for you crabs want to see your life essentially get way better than where it is right now. Now, granted, your life is not trash, even right now, but there's some things that you crabs really want to actually do, experience. A lot of you crabs probably want to get yourselves into another relationship, and so you're hoping that a person would actually step to you correctly, one that you like, one that you would actually want to get to know even further than just the first glance of you talking to them. And now you crabs are hopeful of it. You would want that, right? Um, and it looks to me as if you crabs are also, bam, willing to wait. You know, patience, willing to wait. The Four of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles right here represents how a lot of you crabs also too, um, potentially even move in together. Like it is, I said before, you crabs really want someone that you can actually be with, move in together, marry. You know what I'm saying? When I say marriage, I'm not necessarily talking about signing your name on a dotted line. I mean like being together and y'all two deciding that y'all two are together. And the Eight of Pentacles. Uh, but for right now, a lot of you crabs are keeping your eyes open. You're learning how to be aware of what's going on around you. And the Eight of Pentacles also speaks to you crabs essentially choosing to be single for the time being. Um, of course, you're still looking, right? Of course, you still have some people that would like to be with you. But for you crabs, I don't think that you have anyone that you would like to be with currently at this current point in time. The people that would like to hang out with you crabs and be with y'all, I'm seeing how a lot of those people wouldn't necessarily be the best type of people for you crabs to actually hang around with in any way. All it is that you would end up getting is a headache. um, Not only that too, why it is that you would want to be single. Part of why it is that you would want to be single is because of the fact that you crabs, you also want to be good or really good for the next person that you meet, especially specifically the right person, right? The right person that it is that you crabs meet that are A1 with you. You crabs would hope to actually not just be in a relationship with them, but how you would get there, right? You would want to actually be on point and as good or even better as they had hoped that their other half could be, right? So you want to be the obvious choice as to where with anyone that you interact with, you speak to, obviously the obvious choice is you. You got to be the obvious choice. If a person doesn't choose you, it's kind of like, what are they? If a person, excuse me, doesn't choose you, it's kind of like, what is it that they're actually doing? Are they really being serious about this thing, or is it that they're really out here playing games? And the Queen of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles, you want people to want you. You have to, a lot of you crabs have the mentality that, again, you want to be the obvious choice. You want to make people want you. And it's not about making people do anything. It's about, once again, you being so good of a choice. It's an obvious choice. It's like, it's a no-brainer. If they look at you crabs and they say, oh, okay, they can't rock with you because of X, Y, and Z, it's like you crabs can understand that they've lost their mind. Um, The Ace of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, however, this also represents you crabs paying attention to what it is that you are lacking and actually focusing on what it is that you are essentially lacking. Because a lot of you crabs understand that you cannot what do I say? You crabs are just going to make sure that you're in a very good position, you know, now and going into next year in 2025. You crabs essentially, you know, you want to make sure that you don't get a bunch of bozos, you don't get a bunch of goofies coming to you, right? You crabs also want to make sure that you're the best possible version of yourself, the best possible version of yourself at the time, right? Of course, your potential is limitless. Everyone's potential, unless they sell out, but everyone's potential is limitless. And you crowds just want to make sure that you're, like I said, you're an individual that a lot of people would want to actually hang around. There's also a sense of, you know, what difficulties come with this, though. You know what comes with actually having to, you know, figure yourself out. What comes along with actually having to do better for yourself. And then you have the Knight of Cups and the King of Swords. There's a sense of you, the King of Pentacles, you bringing in a lot to the table, like I was just talking about. And the Knight of Cups and the King of Swords, like I said, only someone who is very intelligent but is up to par with you can really understand the value that you're bringing to the table. And not just money, not just your body, not just your looks, right? They see you as all of those things. When a person, how a person judges a person as marriage material or long-term material, they don't just look at one thing. See, a lot of the times, my dear crabs, a lot of people choose people because of just one aspect of their life, one area. And sometimes they, and all of those times they wonder, well, why, you know, this relationship is just going downhill. The reason why is because being in a long-term relationship has nothing to do with looking at one area only. It has to do with looking at all the areas, a lot of different aspects about a person, right? Because a person is essentially not just one thing. So you can't just, you know, look at a person for their money, or look at a person for their looks, or, you know, the fact that they know a lot of people. Doing that is a terrible way of dating. Terrible way of dating. That's a good way to essentially get your heart broken, you know, or to get yourself caught up in drama, right? You don't want that. So a lot of you crabs understand that, you know, a person would look at you and see the value that you bring, not just one thing, not you just looking good, the fact that you may have some money and all of that, or you making it work. No. I mean, yeah, but not only that, the fact that, you know, you and them actually get along with each other, and two of you have similar value systems, that type of stuff, you know, that type of stuff. And like it is, I said before, my dear crabs, you know, and hopefully a person can really see it, because at this point it's like, it's really kind of a common sense question. Like, okay, if they don't want to hang out with you, it really will show where their hand is. It will show it. They don't have a choice. It will show their hand, because it's like, what exactly would be the problem, or whatever the case may be, right? And then they would say something. They would say essentially something stupid, and then it's like, okay, we'll see. That's the point. So let's clarify the King of Swords. Okay. Okay. So to clarify, King of Swords, you have the Knight of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, right? And then you have the Chariot. For you crabs, You crabs, okay, so these three cards, right? You crabs would want the relationship to be 50-50. You would want it to be where it's the two of you meet each other halfway, and it's not just you doing most of the work or even them doing most of the work. But you also don't want it to be controlling as well, right? That's part of the reason why you want it to be 50-50. You don't want it to be controlling in the sense of like, now the person utilizes their money to treat you a certain kind of way, right? So the thing is that the Knight of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles right here is about how, and you, again, and this is not just about them looking at your value. You also have to essentially look at theirs as well. A lot of you crabs will go out, hang out with some people. You already kind of have. Still single, still getting to know some people. But as of right now, you're just talking to them. You're not necessarily, some of you crabs may not have even necessarily went out on a date with them as of yet. Some of you crabs may have just gotten yourselves out of a relationship. And that's part of the reason why it is that you crabs could potentially be like, no, you're going to wait. If not, it could also mean that you crabs haven't healed to the degree that you would want to right now, where, one of your last relationships, the connections really messed you up because you crabs may have thought that this person was the one, right? Like Neo from the Matrix, the one, right? The person that you could have really seen yourself with long term. And unfortunately, it didn't turn out like that. So then you have the Page of Wands and the Chariot, which represents you crabs. This represents how you want a person to be as transparent as possible, right? As you want there to be transparency, to where there's transparency between yourself and them, where you are able to actually understand who they are, as well as they understand you. And it's not just about they have to like throw these narratives on your shoulder like a jacket, right? They talking about how you a player and this and that, and like you're not any of those things, and they're using that to get on your nerves and play games with you. And at the end of the day, none of that stuff actually even works, because none of that stuff has anything to do with actually really getting to know you, right? Like if they really wanted to get to know you, they would ask you the question and get the real answer, instead of having to throw up a narrative onto you like a jacket over your shoulders. So overall, this reading is very good. This is about you crabs basically just being single, dating, just talking to some people and utilizing your discernment, utilizing the skills that you have gained here, you've gained through your own life experience, independent from me as well as what I taught you here. And, just going through some people and excommunicating some people because they've shown you some real deal breakers before you even decide to really take them seriously. And I just see that a lot of you crabs just want to make sure that when you interact with somebody, you're not just throwing your time away with them by essentially choosing wrong, when you have the skills to be able to better discern if a person is worth your while or not, right? So, you want someone to also judge you by a lot of different aspects of yourself, because that's how it is that you understand if a person is marriage material or not. It's not just with their body, it's not just with their money, it's about overall who they are, right? When I look at somebody romantically and I'm getting to know somebody romantically, it's not just about their physical looks. This is why I'm open to dating taller, shorter, light-skinned, dark-skinned, curly hair, blue eyes, wavy hair, is because for me, I'm more so looking at the value overall of the person, other than, the phenotype, you dig? So that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Appreciate you, crabs, for coming in here and listening to me.